Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I know that Valentine's Day is coming up and it's on Sunday. And truthfully, there's a good chance I'm not going to be wearing a stitch of makeup because Sundays at our house are real lazy. But I thought I'd get a little Valentine's inspired get ready with me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being subscribed. I'm just starting by putting on some of the Tarte Smoothless Timing Primer. Timeless Smoothing Primer. I never get the name right of this primer. I don't know. I've had it for such a long time. You think I would figure it out? I don't know how it is that in the midst of a pandemic and lockdown, my kids are still so busy. And the funny thing is, it's not like they're going anywhere. It's all these Zoom appointments. And I am all about making sure my kids have an opportunity, and I'm looking for, what am I doing next? I'm all for an opportunity for my kids to be, chatting with friends, or they take a music composition class. There is a symphony here in our town, and because they're not doing any performances, the musicians have decided to start doing, an outreach to young musicians in the community. My daughter, oldest daughter, plays piano. She'll be 13 next month. My youngest daughter plays violin. She'll be 11 next month. Their birthdays are on the 5th and the 10th of March. I love that they have this chance to work with professional musicians and to learn how to write music. So they have their composition class, they have a weekly class, and then a weekly private lesson. It's all free. I'm just like, amazing. My youngest daughter had a violin recital over Zoom. She did great, but it's really weird. Like, there's so much going on over Zoom. I thought that because of the pandemic, it was all going to slow down. It would just be us and a little bubble at home, and we wouldn't be running about. Apparently, we're not running about, but we're constantly, I'm late for my next Zoom, I'm late for my next Zoom. And I hope this is not how my kids think like normal life is, that everything is done like not in person, but over, anyway. One of the things that we do in our house, this is kind of weird and strange, is that we have something called secret chocolate. Secret chocolate is chocolate you don't have to share. And it all kind of started when my husband, who I love that his mother raised him right, because he loves chocolate more than I do, and I'm a huge chocolate lover. He basically called me one day from work, and he's like, I'm having a bad day. I've been in Zoom meetings all day. I feel like I'm going crazy. I just need a little chocolate fix and all my secret chocolate is gone. I was like, secret chocolate? And he's like, oh yeah, the chocolate I keep in my desk drawer for when I'm having a bad day. And I died laughing. I was like, I got you. So I ran to the store and I got him a big bag of peanut M&Ms. I got him a bag of double dipped chocolate malt balls, and I got him a couple of bars of chocolate. He's like, I didn't ask for 4 pounds of chocolate. I was like, well, you make it last. This way I don't have to go to the store for secret chocolate. So my kids get light of the fact that parents are having chocolate and they're not involved. So now they have this thing where they want to, make sure that if there's secret chocolate, can they have their own secret chocolate stash in their room? It's so funny. Chocolate they don't have to share. So after my daughter had her violin lesson last Sunday, we used to take the kids out for ice cream or some sort of a celebratory, you did great, good job, hard work, hooray. So we didn't go out because we're not doing that right now, but she wanted to stop by the store and they picked up, I don't know what he was thinking. He let her get a 2-pound bag of caramel M&Ms. The bag is like this big. It's massive, like 2 pounds. And guess what? Okay, so her recital was before the Super Bowl. He takes her to the store, they buy this, they come home, I have like Super Bowl snacks going. There are brownies, there's chips and salsa, there's burgers, there's other things kind of, and guess what? By the next day, 24 hours later, there must have been like 7 or 8 little caramel M&Ms rolling around the bottom of the bag, and I was like, what happened? My family, my 2 girls and my husband ate 2 pounds of chocolate M&Ms. I could not believe it. Now I had a little bit, but I had like a handful because for me it was like the chips and salsa. Like I half the bag of chips. I don't make homemade salsa that often. I should, because my family loves it so much, but I'm just like, yeah. But when I make homemade salsa, I'm like, I tuck in, I did. Anyway, so we each had our preferred snack. Apparently theirs is chocolate caramel M&Ms. Dude, I couldn't believe it. So later this week, my youngest daughter is still going, is there any more secret chocolate? I'm like, you ate all the secret chocolate. All right. I really hope you're doing well. One thing also that was kind of a highlight for me last week, I don't think I'm gonna wear foundation. I think I'm just gonna strategically place concealer, especially over here on this little spot, and then we'll blend it out. Hit the corners of the nose and we'll call it good. This is all gonna blend into essentially what is foundation. I had this incredible opportunity to volunteer at a vaccination clinic here in my town. And it's a small town, but it's kind of like the largest small town for an area, like for our county. It's the county seat. And so everybody, all the vaccination clinics are being held here, and people are driving, you know, from one little small town to another, slightly larger small town. But it was so great. And I realized it's the first time in 11 months that I've talked to strangers. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but the minute we all had to start wearing masks and the social distance, we started looking at each other at the grocery store kind of like, who are you? Is it safe? Are you too close? Like, I feel like all of the humanity went out of my life, and the only people I have seen are my family members. We haven't bubbled with a family because my husband works retail and he sees several hundred people in a week. His store is not as busy as some other retail stores. He works at a bookstore, but still, like, I don't think it's fair to ask other people to accept that potential risk. So it's just been the four of us for the last 11 months, except for whoever we see on Zoom. My kids have their music lessons, so they see their music teacher once a week, like, but we really don't see anybody. And it's the first time that I have been able to sit in one place and people were coming to me. I was helping at the registration desk, kind of to get people, make sure they had all their paperwork ready, so that they could answer all of those questions and give consent. You know, have you ever had an allergic reaction to whatever? And it was one of the most fulfilling things I've done. I used to work in radio, and I'm a born talker, if you haven't picked up on that, and I love talking to people. And I especially love talking to strangers. And so for me, it was kind of like, my husband was laughing. He was volunteering in a different part of the clinic. He was helping with mobility, people who needed help in a wheelchair or help with walkers, or people who, you know, were going back and forth in golf carts because their cars were parked too far away. It was really interesting. So he was like running around and I was sitting at a table chatting with people. And he says that when I left, he says, like, you were high. He's like, you were like high on people. He says, you were like giddy. I was. And I'm going to volunteer again. And I'm so excited. First of all, I feel like it's the first time, I keep going here, like it's the first time I can do anything that's helpful outside of taking care of my family and making sure that we're wearing masks and we're staying home. It's the first thing I can do to help my community, like tangibly, in 11 months. And it was so important for me to be there. And I had the privilege of translating. I speak Spanish, not terribly well, but well enough. There's a very large population of Latinos in our community, and sometimes the tables where they had like official Spanish translators were so full and the line was long that they were just like, all the other tables they knew had Spanish forms, or they're just gonna go and fill out, you know, and do their best. And when they found out that I spoke Spanish, I had a lot of people, and it was so nice to be able to help people and to speak with them and to, you know, give them the information they needed. There was even one gentleman who was there with his wife, and he mentioned that, oh, I'll just wait for my wife to fill out my form. I don't write very well. And I said, it's my pleasure to help you. If you don't mind, I'll ask you the questions and we'll fill it out together so that when your wife's done, you both can go. It's like, are you sure? I'm like, that's what I'm here for. I felt so useful. Oh my goodness, it was such a gift. It was like the best thing ever. And it made me so happy. So I cannot wait for my next opportunity to go and volunteer. It might just be that I'm starved for contact. I just quickly set my face a little bit of this Beauty Pie One Powder Wonder underneath the eyes and the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Powder Foundation over the rest of my face, just for a little coverage since I just have concealer strategically placed. I think I'm gonna use this today. I wanna try it with a fan brush. This seems kind of like a giant fan brush. I've had this for a long time. This came in a BoxyCharm years ago, and I never really knew what to do with it. And then I was looking on the Beautylish website. I've been wanting to get more Sonia G brushes, and there is this giant fan brush in her face collection that she says is great for, you know, bronzer, blush, highlight. It's not quite this enormous, but I thought, let me try it first with what I have at home and see if it's the sort of thing, because it's kind of dense like this. It's just not as wide as this. And I want to see whether it would be useful because the fan brush is $55. I got a couple of Beautylish gift cards for my birthday, and I haven't spent them yet because I was waiting for certain face brushes to come back in stock from Sonia G. So my husband and I are thinking about sending the kids back to school. My kids have been going to a school where they've been doing a hybrid, where you could either have them home and do school over Zoom, or you could send them back to school. And they have been back to school since the first day of school in August. And they go to a much smaller school. It's not a very large school, and the teachers have been militant. You know, everybody has to wear a mask. Everybody has to hand sanitize when they move between classes. Everybody's 6 feet away. Like, they are, like, even on the playground, they're keeping an eye on those kids. And I'm so grateful for that. And there has only been, there's like, I think 400 or 500 kids who go to my children's school. There's only been one case. They've been keeping them in their, what they're calling cohorts. Like, this classroom doesn't mix with any other classroom. They don't go to lunch together. They don't go to, you know, PE together. They don't go to recess together, which is kind of hard for the kids because they're missing more of that social aspect. Certain classes, they don't do library anymore. The library comes to them on a little trolley and they can pick books off of there or make a request to the librarian. They've been so careful not to mix groups of people so that if one person in a class is sick, they can just shut that whole classroom down for 2 weeks and everybody isolates. The teacher teaches online. They've only had one problem this whole school year. I don't know how that's possible, but I'm so grateful. So we're feeling like it, you know, it might be time to send the kids back. And my almost 11-year-old, my youngest, is the social butterfly, and she is dying not having that like interaction with people, and being on Zoom has kind of killed part of her soul, and I feel so bad. And my almost 13-year-old is very much like, they're too noisy at school. Those boys talk too much. I like being home because then once the teacher's done teaching, I can just mute the whole thing and sit there and do my work and just focus. And I'm like, girlie, you can't get in the habit of thinking you can mute the world around you. You have to learn how to deal with distraction. So yeah, you are going back to school. She's like, don't send me back. I love it at home. And she's my real homebody. But I'm sure she'll like being back at school too. The other thing is, I'll tell you, my kids have flourished. One aspect of being home is that they haven't had any criticism from, you know, middle school can be hard. One's a 5th grader, one's a 7th grader, and that whole idea of people, you know, teasing you, kids being mean to you, saying unkind things about, you know, your parents or your sibling or where you live, or like, there has been none of that. And I have seen my 2 girls become so much more confident in the last 11 months because they haven't had to deal with all the negative at school. And they go to a really good school, but still, kids are kids. And I love that they've also had that whole year to kind of be away from it, so that when they go back, if they see that behavior happen, they're gonna be like, hey, I don't think I want to be a part of that. So they can see it and recognize it and choose to do something different. I am so grateful for that. I love this blush. I got this a year ago and I have used it so much and it still looks brand new. It's the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow Magic Hour blush. I'm excited because on Sunday they're releasing one in a new shade. I love this formula and I definitely want to pick it up. Oh, My eyes are watering and my concealer is already like, goodbye. Not today. No, I'll work on that later. I'm gonna definitely pick up the other one. There are some things that I feel like I've tried almost everything out of the M Cosmetics line with the exception of like 5 or 6 things. So when they release this formula in that new shade, my goal is to pick up the new shade plus some other things that I haven't tried from the line. But overall, I haven't tried a single thing that I don't like. And I love that M Cosmetics is one of those brands where they haven't been releasing. They're not a Colourpop, they're not MAC, they're not, you know, like overdoing it, you know, something new every 2 seconds. And I appreciate that about them. And I feel like that gives me more of a sense of being able to trust their formulations. That they took their time, they got it just how they wanted it before pushing it out. I was reorganizing makeup the other day and I stumbled across this. This is like one of my favorite highlights ever. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold. Mine is so beat up. I love this thing so much. Where's my brush? So I usually just like go over all of them. Sometimes I'll like hit the lighter too a little bit more, but I love the look of all of them. And it's such a pretty glowy highlight. Oh, makes my heart so happy. I thought I would try this again today. I have used it maybe once since I got all 5 of these. I am still deciding whether these are like my favorites, but I like that it's an edited small Colourpop. So I'm gonna start with kind of like the lightest matte shade in here. I do like this slightly rosier tone. I don't know if I'm like wise to make a rosier eye with a red striped sweater today, but it is what it is. I just got back from taking my dog to the vet to get her nails trimmed, and I realized we're 10 months out from her having been real sick. My dog Thursday is 16, well, we think 16 years old. I've had her for 14 years. And when I first got her, we picked her up at the Humane Society and we took her to the vet, and the vet said, you know, she looks like she's about 2 years old. So we think she's maybe 16, but we definitely had her for 14 of those years, longer than we've had the girls. And she is such a sweet dog. But last Easter, I think it was Easter Sunday, she got really sick and was losing her balance, was falling over, was vomiting, and I was worried something was seriously wrong with her. So we popped her in the car and the vet was already closed. And so we drove an hour to the emergency vet hospital in the next largest city, an hour away. And they're like, well, I think she's gonna be okay. Give her this medication for dizziness and see your local vet tomorrow. So the next day I took her to the local vet and they're like, yeah, we think it's vestibular disease. I don't know, it's they call it old dog disease. Basically, it's an inner ear imbalance, and after a certain age, like she was just like unsteady on her feet, but after being unsteady for a while, she lost a lot of weight, and I was worried we were gonna have to put her down. But thankfully, you know, we gave her medication to increase her appetite. I've never done this before, but like I bought chicken just for the dog. I bought beef just for the dog. And I was like cooking all of this like actual meat, not just canned dog food. Cause like we used to give her just kibble. And then as she got older, sometimes we give her a can of wet dog food because she loved it so much. And then when she stopped eating, she wasn't eating her kibble at all. So I started trying to get her to eat the wet dog food and she wouldn't do that. The only thing she wanted to eat was like, and then it was hard to get her off of it because she was like, I've had the good stuff now. You're not putting me back on that canned food. But finally got her weight up because she lost 3 pounds and she started out at 17 pounds and got down to 14, and they're like, we're really worried about her weight. So she was going to the vet like, you know, twice a week. She had to get, you know, fluids via IV. She was on 3 different meds. And we're finally down to the point where she's only on 1 medication, and it's basically Dramamine, an anti-nausea medication. And she's doing really good. She still has moments where like when she gets up, she'll kind of like, you know, lean over, and if she like shakes her head too much, She gets really unbalanced and she'll bump into the wall. But she's figured out, like, I don't know, coping mechanisms. I see her kind of like spread her feet to brace herself for when she shakes. She knows. But I'm glad she's still here and she seems pretty healthy. She's still like between 14 and 15 pounds every time I take her to the vet. I have them weigh her for me. But I'm glad she's still here. She's my old girl and she brings me such joy and I love her so much. I'm gonna grab this darkest shade here and I'm gonna put that right here in my outer corner. There have been so many, like in the last year, like I think it was like a year and a half ago that I was like, no more big palettes, I can't do it. And I think I might have bought like the occasional big palette, but I've been trying to keep to like 12 pans and smaller. My favorite are like the, you know, quads or like this 5-pan palette size. I love this size and it's easiest for me. And I feel like recently there has been a huge number of companies doing a lot of small palettes. I feel like, you know, the trend is now smaller and smaller and smaller sizes, where before it was like the bigger the better. I'm gonna use that center shade, that metallic center shade. That one's called Faith. Ooh, it's pretty. I'm just using this pink shade here from the Charlotte Tilbury Barb Gold palette, kind of on the inner portion here, kind of blending it together. I like this a little bit better, the lighter kind of pinkish, glittery, it's not really glittery, it's kind of shimmery shade in the Colourpop palette. I find to be a little flaky and I don't like it. So I thought this might work nice. I hope you have good plans for the weekend. I know not everybody is a Valentine sort of person, but I always think a pampering Sunday just for yourself, like self-care, that's the best thing to do. So there's going to be a lot of time of me just being a little selfish on Sunday. Mom's in the bath, leave me alone. Do you ever do that where you need a moment? I don't know if you know, live with a full house. If you don't, that's okay. I love my kids and I love my husband and I think they're the best, but every now and again, I just need a minute. And so I draw myself a bath. I pull out my iPad. My iPad is propped up on a couple of boxes, you know, just far enough away that if I want to change something I can, but it's not going to get wet. And I take in like a iced tea or my big water bottle full of ice and I just sit in the hottest possible water and just like watch a whole show by myself or a whole movie and they're like banging on the door. I'm like, go away, I'm not here. There will be some of that happening this Sunday. And there will also be, I guess it won't be secret chocolate, but it'll be chocolate that we share. I have so much chocolate. I have been buying chocolate like a crazy person for the past probably month and a half since I first started seeing the chocolate come out like right after Christmas. It wasn't even January yet. I started buying all the heart-shaped little, you know, Dove chocolates and all those other special types of things that are like the once a year thing. I don't know. There's a lot of chocolate in this house. And my plan is to like death by chocolate on Valentine's Day. My kids are gonna love it. I feel like my brows got a little intense today, but that's the life I'm living. So I wanted to go back and try this again. It might be a lot with kind of like a rosy eye and a kind of a more tomatoey red lip. I don't know if is that a good idea? Maybe we just do it anyway. I think we will. But this time, the last time I tried it, I didn't put a lip liner with it and I didn't quite like it as much. It's a real soft, moussey texture, the formula, and I feel like it was kind of fuzzy and not a good fuzzy around the lip line. It looked kind of like a messy fuzzy. So I am gonna line my lips. This is the Kiss and Tell Lip Cheat from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm sure it's been happening like gradually, but I feel like in the last 12 months, I've had a lot of distinct changes on my face and like volume in my lips has been one of them. And I don't think it's, you know, anything more than it's been gradually happening and I'm just starting to seriously notice it now. But I was like, the pandemic has been terrible. You know, lines across my forehead are deeper, crow's lines are deeper, like the little smile lines here on the corners of my mouth and my lips, like they're losing volume. And it's not just, you know, the pandemic and the stress, but I have been finding myself doing a lot of this and then a lot of like purse my lips. I need to remind myself not to do that. So we're going on with this. This tomatoey red just makes me happy. It's got a real lightweight feel to it. The first time I tried it, I wasn't sure that I loved it, and I've been letting it kind of sit here in my stash, and it's really hard to miss because it's bright red and it's been staring at me, and red is like my favorite color. But I haven't worn this again, and I like it so much better with a lip liner. I feel like it keeps the edge looking neater, even though my lips are not as full as they used to be. It feels really comfortable on the lips though. I do like the way it feels initially. I don't remember how it wears. I'll have to let you know. I had so much fun today. I know I was like the chatty Kathy, like as chatty as I've been this whole time. That was me last weekend at the vaccination clinic times like 1,000. I was so delighted to see people and I can't wait to do it again. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. I know it was a lot longer because like you couldn't shut me up. Maybe a piece of secret chocolate stuffed in there to get me to stop talking. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your plans are for Valentine's Day. This is like my pre-Valentine's Day look because on Sunday, I'm gonna be lazy. I'll be sleeping in late. I'll be in the bathtub like, leave me alone, I'm not here. And, you know, I probably won't be wearing any makeup all day Sunday. So this is kind of like my, in honor of, but yeah, there will be lots of chocolate on Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Know that I love you and appreciate you, and I will see you again soon.